Hi, everyone. Alan Shields here, Chief of Police for the town, and we are 10-8 and in service, which means we're here to make people's lives better, and we do that by safeguarding the lives, rights, and property of everyone we serve. Thank you all for joining us. Live show. So if you like the show, hit the like button, give us a thumbs up, and then ask any question in the chat. We'll be monitoring both Facebook and YouTube. So if you have a question, you can punch it right there in the chat. If I get to it during the show, I will make sure to get to it during the show. If not, I'll be sure to answer in the chat later on. We're going to show one video today, so stay tuned for that. It's an oldie but a goodie, and it kind of represents some of the crime that we're seeing today, and we just want to let people be aware of that. Always want to remind people to download the FEMA All Hazards Checklist. This way you can stay prepared should one of those infrequent but very high-risk events happen. You'll be prepared for that event. Right now we're still highlighting power outage since we had one a week and a half ago in parts of town. And then also download, or rather, first off, go sign up for the community warning system through the Contra Costa County Office of the Sheriff. And then download, while you're there, download the Wildfire Preparedness and Evacuation Guide. Lots of good information in there on how you can have a plan and be ready. Make sure that you, your pets, your family are all prepared should one of those events happen. And then go ahead and go to the PG&E website. We've been promoting this for about 6 months now. It is a great site. In fact, during that power outage, I went there and was able to get information quickly on what was going to happen with the power. And you can also sign up for alerts for a very specific event, or you can sign up for alerts in general for your area, and you get updates on planned power outages and things like that. We also have a very special event. If you like this show, this is kind of interactive, somewhat interactive. I do interact with the chat as best I can during the show. But if you want to really find out what it is your police department does to serve you, to serve the community of Danville and make Danville safe, join us with our Citizens Academy. It's a great 7-week experience every Wednesday night for 3 hours. We throw 2 Saturdays in there. Those are 8-hour days. And those are days where we visit dispatch. If permitted, we go and we do a tour of the jail. And so you can see what life is like there. And you get a really good look at what we do from a patrol, from a traffic, from an investigation standpoint. It's a great experience. And we'd recommend that you come and join us out at our Citizens Academy. It's starting on March 27th, 2024. You can contact Lindsay Ortiz at 314-925-314-3717, or you can go right to our website and look for the Citizens Academy application there. Fill it out, send it in, and we'll get you on the list. Spots are filling up quick. We did highlight it in the patch this time, which gives us a little bit of a broader reach, and so we're seeing a lot more people signing up. All right. And I see Sue's on there. Good afternoon, Sue. And we're going to move to our community crime map. You can always go to communitycrimemap.com. You can get information as you want it. We upload there several times a day. You can also set up alerts that you can get straight to your email. And then we'd also say that you can get sexual offender registry information there as well. And so go there. That's a good chance for you to get information. And as far as traffic, and we'll cover one of those later, but we did have one property collision, 2 hit and runs that were reported. The 2 hit and runs, the first one was on the 22nd, 600 block of Diablo Road, and the other one was on the 24th, and that was on the 500 block of San Ramon Valley Boulevard, kind of down there by the high school. The 25th, this was a non-injury collision. This was a vehicle into an object, and that was as a result of a drunk driver. We'll talk about that one here in a minute. As far as crime, we didn't do so well. We did better on traffic than we did last week, but the crime, we're not looking so good. No violent crime. That is good, though. So no violent crime. That's where we want to be. 1 residential burglary, 7 thefts, and 1 vehicle theft. And you'll see there's a little bit of a theme. It looks like we have a bike thief roaming town. On the 22nd, we had a theft of a bicycle from Osage Park. That was an unlocked bike. On the 22nd, we had an arrest of a man for shoplifting at the Safeway on Comunidad Sahara. On the 23rd, we had a theft of a package from the 1500 block of St. Helena Drive. On the 24th, we had a theft of a black bicycle from the Costco parking lot. And then on the 26th, we had a theft of a big screen TV from the Costco. On the 26th, we had a theft of a vehicle from Alta Vista Court. This vehicle was actually recovered nearby, and in fact, it had been moved, which is the only reason and kind of off-roaded, which is why we knew it was stolen and why the owner knew it was stolen. But it was both stolen and then recovered the same day. We did process that one for DNA, and we're hoping to get some leads on that. On the 28th, the residential burglary on Las Barrancas, the rear slider door was broken. That is actually a common one that we see. We're seeing the rear slider doors broken quite a bit. as far as the method of entry. On the 28th, we saw a theft of a purse, and this was from someone that was shopping at Trader Joe's on Railroad. So while they were shopping, they had their purse stolen from the shopping cart. And then our third theft of a bike was an e-bike while parked outside of Marshall's store. So you can see they're happening. We had Osage Park, we had the Costco parking lot, we had the Marshall's parking lot. So each one of those stolen bikes was in one of those areas where there is a lot of visibility, which is good, but there's also a lot of people. So if the bike is unlocked, that's not a good position to be in. We'll cover bike locks and such here in a minute. On the purse, though, I want to cover that one. I've got a couple slides for the locks, so I'll wait on that. But on the purse, we've talked about it before, and a few things. One, we don't want to leave it in our car. So don't leave it in your car and then go in shopping, because it could be the dirty gym bag. It could be whatever. In fact, you'll see me around town. I'm carrying my backpack with me. I was actually, just don't do what I did this morning. I was at the new, and I'm going to totally butcher the name, but it's Maison Benoit's. It's the new French restaurant or bakery downtown. Super delicious. Very, very good. So I went down there. I was actually had my iPad and I was getting some work done. Made sure to leave with my iPad. I actually left my backpack there. Got about a block away, realized I forgot my backpack, went in to go get it. But the point is, I didn't leave it in my car because that's just somewhere where someone's going to see it and steal. But if you're going to bring it with you, you got to take it with you. So don't do what I did. What I would recommend is, if you're in a store or a restaurant, is to maybe wrap one of the shoulder straps around your leg, so as you get up, you're going to take it. If it's a purse and you're a lady, maybe wear it across your body. That's usually the best one. Usually with a zipper. Like my bag has open pockets on the sides. I never put anything of value in there. If someone's going to reach into that open pocket and grab something, all they're going to get is my beanie and a useless pair of gloves. I mean, they've got holes in them. But I never put like a wallet or cell phone or anything like that in there. I know it may be easy access for me, but I sure don't look like that it's going to be something desirable for a thief. So take it with you. If you leave your backpack or purse inside the cart, we had a genius idea from one of our detectives, and what she does and what she recommends, and this is what I'm passing on to all of you, is she uses one of those little carabiners, those climbing carabiners. It doesn't have to be a climbing one, just anything, any hook that you can attach. She attaches it to a part of her purse and then attaches it to the cart. And what you're trying to do is, if you think about, and we'll talk about natural surveillance with the bike locks as well. If you think about the natural environment, if someone were to come up to your shopping cart, grab your purse and try to take it, and it's attached to all of the other people around there, it's going to look like they're stealing your purse, right? But if someone comes up and they simply grab the purse out of the cart and they go, when the cart's unattended, it has the possibility of only looking like the owner of that purse is taking their purse. So what you want to do is you want to make it look like they're stealing. And so make sure you do that. And I'm looking at some of the chat here, and Lou Plummer said, first off, Daryl, I saw you up there. Daryl Slyden, hi and welcome. Thanks for watching. And then Lou, longtime viewer and Citizens Academy graduate, I would say Citizens Academy extraordinaire, says, hey, Chief, looks like we've got some flooding coming. I sure hope not, but the reminder is, with the atmospheric river that's supposed to actually already be here, make sure, if you are in an area, which it seems like about 99% of Danville, the creek areas are covered by private property owners, HOAs, and such. Make sure that the areas that you are responsible for are cleaned out. Our town of Danville maintenance people have been very, very busy. They've been going out and cleaning out the areas we're responsible for, and then notifying some of the areas as well. So just make sure those areas are clean. In one instance last year, we had an area where there was some severe flooding, and it was as a result of a cattle grate from private property going into the creek, and it essentially acted like what they call a trash rack. It's meant to stop trash from going. Well, it blocked everything from going and caused the creek to spill over. So please make sure that you're paying attention to that. And again, if you download that FEMA All Hazards Guide, there's something in there for flooding. And so you can get some good tips on what you can do there as well. And then Lou corroborates my opinion. Maison Benoit, that's the French bakery downtown on Railroad. It is delicious. I mean, there's nothing I've had there that's not 10 out of 10 delicious. Really, really good. We've got a lot of good places in town, and we're glad that we've added one more. All right, we're going to talk about the bike locks, but let's get to the arrest log first, and then we'll show a video of a purse getting snatched. All right, on to the arrest log. January 22nd, we arrested a man for being drunk in public, and while arresting him, he resisted arrest, and then he also threatened the officer. And this Penal Code 71 is the one where it's threatening an executive officer. It usually is not, a simple threat of "I don't like you." It usually has to be something pretty severe because it does result in a felony charge. And that was on the 200 block of Harts. That was downtown, and he was booked at the Martinez jail. On the 24th, we arrested a man and a woman for passing a forged check inside one of our banks. They were also in possession of fraudulent documents, identification. They were also charged with conspiracy and burglary because they acted together and they entered a building with the intent to commit that crime, that theft. And it was on a bank on the 600 block of San Ramon Valley Boulevard. Both were booked in the Martinez jail. On the 25th, this is related to that accident I talked about earlier. We arrested a man for DUI, and that was on San Ramon Valley Boulevard at Sycamore Valley Road after he was involved in a minor accident. He ultimately was also booked in jail. And then we arrested a man on the 26th for an out-of-county warrant, and we booked him in the Martinez jail as well. So a lot of arrests, but you can see some of those are proactive, identifying some of the warrant, and then some are reactive. Crash happens and our officers go out. On the bank one, this is kudos, and generally speaking, the bank employees here in town, and probably most everywhere else, are really, really good. They're really good at identifying when people are coming in to do wrong, and they do a very good job of reporting it to us. And of course, they've got great cameras and everything else that help us to build a really good case. So kudos to the bank in that case for getting that report, getting us down there in time so that we can make sure that we're on top of that. All right. And if you like the content, please give us a thumbs up. If you're on Facebook, give us a like. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you can, send this to some of your friends and let them know what we're doing here. All right. Bikes. We get this all the time. And before I start off, you've seen 3 bike thefts and 1 package theft. And I want to remind everybody, and please spread this around. Let's hope all the crooks figure this out. The police department has a bike out there somewhere that has a GPS tracker on it. And the idea is that is our bait bike. And what we're hoping is that the crook will steal our bike. We'll go catch them and they don't steal your bike. Another thing we have out there is we do have a bait package out there. It may be some size, who knows, right? But we do have a bait package out there. And the goal is they steal our package. We catch and arrest them and they don't steal your package. Some of the things with package theft, if you can have it on your, a Ring doorbell or a doorbell camera of some sort, if you can recover the package, if it's something of significant value, either sign for it or have it delivered to your work where someone will be there to get it. But just practice some good safety tips on that. So bike locks. Let's look at, I've got 2 pictures here. One's an example of how not to lock your bike up, and the other is a good example of how to lock your bike up. But what can we do in general? Use a high quality bike lock. Make sure you lock it properly. And if you look at the picture on the right, that is not properly locked. What this person did was they took the U-lock and they put it through the tire. Then they put the cable through the frame. Well, those cables, if you have a pair of bolt cutters, it is really, really easy to cut through a cable. It is really hard, not impossible, but hard to cut through the steel of the U-lock portion. And so if you look at the picture on the left, you want to take that lock, and if possible, you want to lock it through the rim, but you have to lock it through a portion of the frame. So lock it through the frame and then also lock it to a post. In one of the thefts earlier last week, the person actually had the bike tire locked to the bike frame, but they didn't lock it to anything else. So they just simply picked the bike up and took it. And you may think, whether it's a mountain bike or a road bike or even an e-bike might be heavy. It might be cumbersome to carry. If it's under 100 pounds, they're going to steal it. And there's pretty much every bike is under 100 pounds. So make sure you lock it to something. That way they don't get it. Park in a visible area. Now, if you remember, all 3 of those bikes were actually in visible areas. So I'll talk about what happened there. If it is stolen, you do want to have a record of your serial numbers. That will allow us to recover it. We recover bikes all the time, and we can never find the owners because there is no serial number. If there's a serial number, we just run that number in our system, and we're able to pop the bike and return it to the owner. if you can, use one of those secure bike boxes to park your bike. As far as the visible area, the reason we want you to park in a visible area isn't because it's easier to steal. It's actually harder to steal, right? But if it's not locked up, again, just like that purse example, if the bike isn't locked up and someone just walks up to your bike and drives off with it, it will look like to everyone else as though it's just the owner going up to their bike and driving their bike away. Now, if the bike's locked to something and some guy comes up with some big old bolt cutters and tries to cut the bolt off it, everyone else is going to look and see that and go, that's really strange. That looks like someone's stealing the bike. And I'll give you my example. My middle son used to ride a bike to school. And for school, he would just use one of those cable locks. Not recommended. But that's what he would use for his commuter bike, so to speak. Well, he couldn't get the combination undone, and he needed to take it home. So I told him that I would go on campus, and I would cut the lock off. I would put a new lock on and gave him the combo. So I go to campus. I check in with the people at the front. I check in with security at the high school here at San Ramon High. And now I go out there, and I'm out, and I'm in just a polo shirt that has my badge on it, and I'm in khaki pants. So I'm not in full uniform. And I'm in there, and I'm kind of working on this lock, and it's easy to cut, but you still have to put some pressure on it. And I had 2 different administrators and a couple students at different times come up to me and say, "Hey, is that your bike?" And it wasn't until I showed them my ID that they were like, "Oh, okay, that makes total sense. Got it." So you can see that if it's parked in an area that has natural surveillance, in other words, where people are just walking around, and you lock it, you're providing everyone else in the world an opportunity to watch the theft happen and to report it, and then sometimes maybe stop or prevent it, right? And if it is locked up, a thief may not want to bring out the big bolt cutters in front of everybody to do it. They're going to want to do it, where it's hidden or where it's secured. So give yourself a good opportunity. Lou asks a great question. Lou says, so what happens? You've got the bike that's locked up. You're at Osage Park, and you see someone cutting it off with bolt cutters. This goes back to, actually, I still have the slide for it. Okay, here. All right, goes back to being a good witness. If you can, write it down. A lot of times now we just take a quick picture of it. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and I can't write 1,000 words that quick. Stay safe. Don't intervene. We don't want you to get involved and possibly get hurt. That's what we're here for. Report it immediately. Call 911. Stick to the facts. No assumptions. And then stay calm. The reason we say stay calm is the dispatcher is going to interrupt you. You may start going, "Hey, I'm witnessing a bike theft. It's happening right now." Blah, blah, blah. And they're going to say, "Stop. Where are you?" They need to know where to send the officers. And so our dispatchers sometimes get a bad rap for doing a very, very good job. And it's because they do interrupt. They do get the information because we need to know where we're going, how many officers are we sending, what the circumstances are, because it might dictate that we send a lot more officers. But Lou, great question. 911 always works. And he put in his question, 911 or Danville PD. Here's what I'll say, is the sheriff actually did a really good job in kind of leading the way on this. But we have E911 in the county, which that, in addition to all of the other dispatch centers we have here, if you just pick up your cell phone, dial 911. It used to be 10 years ago, we would recommend actually putting our dispatch number in here, because if you called 911 from your cell phone, all of them went to CHP, and it was an unfair burden to put on one dispatch center. If you can imagine all of the 911 calls from cellular phones going to CHP, it just put an undue burden on them. Since the sheriff's moved to E911, it's lifted a lot of that burden. In fact, most of the time, if you're in San Ramon, it'll go right to San Ramon Dispatch. If you're in Danville, it'll go right to our dispatch center in Martinez. And if you're in CHP's area, it'll go to CHP. The reason we say don't worry about defining your area is even if you get the wrong dispatch center, the call is going to be picked up so quickly by our dispatch. It's going to be transferred within seconds, and you'll get the right dispatch center, and we'll get you going. So we just want to stick to use 911, and you'll get through to us pretty quickly, and you'll get a response. So Lou, great question/comment. Now let's look at some bike lock types. I'm going to make one solid recommendation. The other two are really dependent on how you deploy with your bike, I guess. Like, how do you travel? Me personally, I actually do use the one on the left. I've got a few of those for some of the bikes. My more expensive bikes, I use basically a beefed up version of that one on the left. That's a U-Lock, and we're not supporting any one particular brand. Make the choice on your own. But the one on the left, I use a combination for some of the lesser expensive bikes, but my more expensive bikes, I use a very thick beefed up version of the U-Lock on the left. When I lock that to a pole, it's going to take a long time for someone to cut that off. They're going to have to use heavy equipment if they're going to do it. You're not going to just use simple bolt cutters to cut it off. The one in the middle, that is the exact one that I was able to cut off my son's bike, and it took me 10 seconds or so to cut that thing off. The one on the right is a chain lock. Again, it is hardened steel, but you can cut those off. They're not incredibly hard to cut off if you have bolt cutters. All of those will work well against someone that has no tools, though. So if you're in an area where you're going to be close to the bike, we even recommend like the cable lock. I'll recommend my son. He'll come downtown. He'll go to the Taco Bell cantina to pay $4 and get something to eat. Even if he's going to be standing near his bike is right on the curb. He's right on the patio. We say lock it up, even if it's with that cable lock. That way it's secure. He prefers the cable lock because it's light and it's easy to carry, and he knows he's always going to be within sight distance of his bike. I use the U-Lock because sometimes I'll kind of adventure travel and I'll maybe go into a museum for like a couple hours, right? I just want to know my bike's going to be there when I get back. And so I'll use a U-Lock, and I'll make sure that I'm attached to a strong metal pole. I don't want to be attached to something where they can pick the bike up and just take it away. I want to make sure it's something solid. So like on a chain link fence, don't attach it to the chain link itself, attach it to the actual pole. That's where you're going to get your most security. All right, I'm checking to see if there's anything else in the chat. I don't see anything, so let's throw the reminders out there. Not that channel. Citizens Academy starts March 27th. Go to our website or contact Lindsay Ortiz directly. She's our community outreach coordinator. She can be reached at 925-314-3717, and she will get you set up with our Citizens Academy. Also, go to the Sheriff's Office website. There's a link down in the description. Just scroll down and you'll find it. Sign up for our community warning system. Also download the county wildfire preparedness and evacuation guide. Then head on over to the PG&E website. This has got a lot of good information. It also is how you can set up alerts for everything to do with PG&E and power shutoffs. And then download the FEMA all hazards checklist. This will give you stuff. There's a flooding section in there. There's the PG&E or the power outage section in there. A lot of good information in there. And it's how you can prepare your family should something happen. I mentioned last week that, a few days prior, we were actually in the middle of cooking dinner. Our power went completely off. I just went into power shutoff mode, went out and got my generator, hooked it up, hooked it to the fridge. We actually fired up the Blackstone so we could finish dinner. But we have plans in place. We've got lights in certain places, a lot of little lanterns and crush lights and things like that, that should the power go out, we're back up and running and we're not losing our food and we're good to go. And then we also have a backup supply of food for quite a few. I have 3 boys, so I've got shelves full of food. But in addition to that, I've got the food that you put on the shelf and it lasts for like 25 years. I used to eat that in the military. It's not the greatest tasting food, but it certainly is better than not eating. So consider what your plans are that should something bad happen. And I will echo. Oh, and Lynn, thank you. Lynn, okay. I hope I didn't lose too many viewers with closing out here. Lynn, I do have a video. Thank you for reminding me. I'm looking at it. It is in my queue over here. There is a video. Let me queue it up. So this is an older video. It is one that is for purse thefts. What you're going to see is you're going to see a lady doing what we all do. We go out, we shop, we bring the cart, we'll unload the groceries. In this case, she put her purse in the car. And what you'll see on the top right of your screen is you'll see a white Dodge Challenger come down, and watch them. And I'll narrate it a little bit. So let's take a look. All right, so in the middle of your screen, there's a lady in a silver car, red cart. She's just to the right of the SUV that's heading towards us. And you can see she's unloading merchandise. You can see in the other aisle to the right, there's that white Dodge Challenger that's now heading towards that SUV. And watch what they do. You'll see them come to a stop, and then they'll back up. And I want you to notice how they park, and then take a good look at the at the passenger seat, and you'll see what the person looks like. And this is why natural surveillance is so important. I mean, this is a beautiful parking lot. Trees are trimmed up, bushes are down, lots of good side alignment. So anyone in this parking lot can see this behavior. Now look at how that person is walking. That's suspicious. So as the lady's putting her cart away, the person's in the car. He's now out of the car. He's walking back to the Challenger. That is exactly how long it took, a few seconds to take her purse, and off he goes. And she doesn't even know her purse is gone. Never even saw it. And I don't think she had the opportunity to see it. And so our recommendation is, those type of encounters, they happen all the time. We even see it at gas stations where someone will come in from the passenger side as you're filling up gas on the driver's side, or vice versa. So really, really mind your property. If you're going to put your stuff away, we would recommend just put your purse in the trunk and close it, or just throw it over the shoulder. You can do the crossbody and keep that. But make sure that that you're aware of where your property is, because if you can see, that was only a few seconds. But what I want you to do is, let's think about it from the other side. We think about it from the victim side. What should we do as a victim? We should hold on to our purse, maybe lock it in the car so it's not easily taken, lock our doors as we go and return the cart. And I know that seems silly. You walk 3 spaces down, you put your cart away, and you walk 3 spaces back. You have to lock your car for that. It's helpful. But let's think about it from all of the witnesses' side. I know me, I have a tendency. Sometimes I walk around and I'm listening to a podcast or something, and something catches my eye, and I'm paying attention there. Here's what I'll charge you, myself, all of us with. You're in that parking lot, look for that guy low crawling. That's suspicious behavior, right? If you see it, Lou asked the question, what do you do? Call 911 right away, be a good witness, maybe snap a picture. Pictures are great for us. In that particular case, we were actually able to get the license plate of the car. We have license plate cameras all through town. Trader Joe's has excellent cameras, so we were able to get the car, immediately rolled that into the license plate. The unfortunate side is that was a stolen plate on the car, and we weren't able to link the actual car for that one. So, Sue, you're right. That was the Trader Joe's parking lot. And Lynn, thank you very much for reminding me to play the video. I would have been pretty sad if I didn't get that out there. It's a great example of how quickly these thefts can happen, and how we want to hold on to our stuff. All right, so that is all I've got. There's only really one thing left to say, and that's go Niners, right? I think Sue hit the nail on the head. I appreciate that's her Facebook icon. So we'll see. Niners are gonna do it this year. So we're gonna see that. All right, that is all I have. With that, we're 1010, which is the radio sign for we're off duty. But we're always 10-8 in service to all of you. Thank you. Have a good night.